Welcome to your May 2025 horoscope forecast. May in numerology is number 14-5. It is a month where we are initiating changes. Networking, communication, business deals, we're wanting to try something new. And in tarot, this is the Temperance card. We're trying to balance all the changes happening in our lives. From April 26th all the way until May 7th, we have Pluto opposite Mars. And this can bring a lot of conflict, transformation, a lot of inner tension between our desires and our actions. Now, Venus is now direct, but all the way until May 16th, it's the post-shadow Venus retrograde. So there could still be a lot of relationship money decisions being made and maybe even people from the past coming back into your life. May 2nd, Venus will conjunct Neptune, and this is really great for creativity and romance and new relationships blooming. We can also be daydreaming about the past more. May 4th, Pluto stations retrograde at 3 degrees of Aquarius. May 7th, Mercury will conjunct Chiron at 24 degrees of Aries, and this is a time of reflection, healing through communications. We're going to be transforming how we process information. May 10th, Mercury enters Taurus. May 12th, there is a full moon in Scorpio. We could be feeling more emotional, uncovering secrets, undergoing sudden shifts, sudden transformations, making sudden changes within our lives. May 17th, Sun will conjunct Uranus, and this is about unexpected changes. Maybe we are feeling a little bit rebellious, feeling restless, wanting a change. Right by 26 degrees of Taurus with the fixed star Algol, so there can be some changes, economic changes or some misfortune, something going on economically in the world. And if you are traveling, just be more cautious around May 17th, 18th, 19th. May 20th, Sun enters Gemini. May 24th, Mercury will conjunct Uranus. Big changes, excitement to our daily lives and routine. We are wanting to learn and discover something new. Our thinking and learning process is very much accelerated. May 25th, Saturn enters Aries. Those of you who have personal planets from 0 to 4 degrees, Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, will really feel the Saturn transit all summer long. May 26th, Mercury enters Gemini. May 27th, we have a new moon in Gemini. It's a time where we're going to want to communicate with others, get together with others, share our ideas. In May, Jupiter is transiting from 21 to 28 degrees of Gemini. So those of you who have personal planets from 21 to 28 degrees of Gemini, you're going to feel Jupiter's presence, expanding that area of your life for you. Saturn this month is transiting from 27 degrees of Pisces to 0 degrees of Aries. But those of you who have personal planets from 27 to 29 degrees of Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, Sagittarius will really feel Saturn strongly this month, as well as those of you who have planets at 0 to 1 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn. You're going to really feel Saturn in the month of May. Neptune is transiting from 1 to 3 degrees of Aries in the month of May. So if you have planets from 1 to 3 degrees of Aries, you're getting a Neptune conjunction. If it's in Libra, it's the opposition, Cancer square, Capricorn square. So be very careful when getting into new relationships, signing documents, getting into new business deals, because things might seem too good to be true. With Neptune, there's a lot of times a deceiving aspect, wearing rose-colored glasses, feeling like we're swept off our feet. So if you do have personal planets from 1 to 3 degrees, Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, just be more cautious in the month of May, especially when meeting new people. Uranus is transiting 26 to 28 degrees of Taurus. If you have personal planets from 26 to 28 degrees of Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius, you could have sudden shifts, sudden changes in your life. Brand new beginnings, something brand new opening up in your life. Pluto is at 3 degrees of Aquarius. So if you have planets from 1 to 5 degrees, Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, Scorpio, you're going to feel a big shift, the Pluto transformation. And Pluto is actually stationing retrograde in the month of May. So there could be a lot of things that you are going through that you are now rethinking, especially if you have personal planets in Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, Scorpio from 1 to 5 degrees. If you find this video helpful, like and subscribe for more, comment down below. I will have all the signs timestamped down below. Aries, welcome to your May 2025 horoscope. Right at the end of April and the first week of May, we have Pluto opposite Mars. This can bring a lot of inner tension with what you want to do and with what you can do. you. And for you, it's happening in the area of friendships, your hopes and dreams, the love that you receive from other people, and the house of creativity, romance, and children. So these areas of life can be at odds, and you can feel this the first week of May. On May 2nd, Venus will conjunct Neptune in your first house, so you may really be thinking about love, romance, relationships, creativity. This is also a time where you could meet somebody. They could walk right up to you. You could be feeling extremely romantic, nostalgic even. And with Venus in your first house most of the month, a lot of you could be beautifying yourselves, buying new clothing, changing your style, changing your hairstyle. This is an excellent time to attract romance into your life as well, because Venus is the planet of love. Now that Neptune has entered your first house, you are going to really be thinking about your identity, where you fit into this world, where you fit in with your relationships. You're going to start questioning things, and you're wanting to be more creative. The sun will be shining a light in your second house of finances and possessions. A lot of you might be shopping or buying yourself something nice, something beautiful. With Mars in the fifth house for May, you're wanting to go out. You're wanting to have fun, or maybe focus on your creative hobbies, creative self-expression. This is also a time where you might meet a romantic partner. On the negative side, this is a month where if you are a parent, you have children, your kids can act up, or maybe there could be some arguments between you and your children. This is also a time where you might want to invest in the stock market, but you're going to really be focused on having fun, creativity, and romance a lot this month, Aries. May 12th, there is a full moon in your 8th house in Scorpio, and this is the house of joint finances. So maybe there's a conclusion to a contract, tax filings, insurance paperwork, inheritance for some of you. This can be the end of a contractual agreement of some sort, a lease, or maybe an insurance policy, or any kind of policy that you have that you are now just getting rid of. This could also indicate that there's money coming to you through other people, and it could come in a surprising way. 8th house is other people's money. This can also signify that you are releasing past hurts. Since Saturn is going into your first house this month, you guys are going on a new path right now, and you are releasing anything that no longer serves you. May 25th, 24th, depending on where you live, Saturn will enter Aries. This is your first house of self, your personality, your identity. In July, it will start retrograding, but it will be in your sign until September 1st. Then it will go back into Pisces for a little bit, and in 2026 will come back into Aries. But this summer, you're going to get a taste of what Saturn and Aries is all about. And for you, Aries, it's about responsibility, changing and shifting your perspective on life and your goals in general. You're going to get a lot more responsibilities. And when Saturn is in our first house, we really see time. This is when we become aware of how time is aging our body, how we're aging, the decisions that we're making, and the impacts they're having on our life. So you will become aware of this. If you have personal planets from about 0 to 3 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, this will affect you a lot more. Wherever Saturn is transiting is where we are forced to have growth, and it is through responsibility, through structure. A lot of times with Saturn in the first house, you can start a new business, get a new job, maybe a new look, lose weight, go on a diet. Saturn will be doing the work for you in a sense that it will show you what you need to do to be more responsible, to have more personal growth. Relationships that aren't working will fall away. Friendships that aren't working will fall away, so that you can focus on what is important. For some of you, it may seem challenging just because Saturn in the first house gives us this sombering effect. We are only focusing on what is important, and we are a lot of times making the changes, but not because we want to, but because that is what we have to do. We are forced to make changes. Say maybe you get pregnant, you have a baby, and now you become a mother. Now that's a completely different set of responsibilities in a completely different life. Or maybe you were single and now you are married, and now you are living life as a couple. Maybe this is a time when you're going off on your own, you're getting separated separated from somebody, you're moving away somewhere, you're starting a business, you are initiating a new era into your life, but really it is coming through you, through responsibilities. So there's going to be a lot of shifts in your day-to-day life. Your habits can change, how you look can change as well. This is the time where you can notice that you are aging, the effects of your health, the effects of time on your body. So you're going to be noticing all of that and making the necessary steps to go forward. So Saturn is going to help you grow up, mature to a new level. If you thought you were mature before, after Saturn leaves your first house, you will see you're at another level of maturity. And therefore, a lot of your responsibilities and the life around you will change. Whenever we change, the people, places, and things around us tend to change because we really are in charge of our reality. So when you see what isn't good for you, what is no longer serving you, you get rid of the things that are no longer important to you, you will see in a few years your life is in a completely different place. You are at a different place. You think different. You dress different. You associate with different people. You're going to shift your whole life around, and your whole perspective on life will change. You're going to be more serious and more responsible. You're going to be eager to change your life because you're going to be shown what isn't working. So over the next few years and starting this summer, Saturn will usher in a new life for you, and it's going to come with a lot of responsibilities and a lot of letting go of the old, letting go of what no longer serves you. And this is going to start this summer. You're going to start really feeling it because when Saturn first goes in, we really feel where we need to shift, where we need to change. May 26th, we have a new moon in your third house in Gemini. So maybe there's a new beginning when it comes to social media, self-promotion, learning a new skill of some sort, or maybe there's new developments in the lives of your siblings, or maybe you're just going to be going out more within your community. This can also signal new people moving into your community is changing. So Saturn will be sextiling this new moon, so you can actually really be inspired to learn something new because you want to create something new. Maybe it is a business of your own, or maybe it is that you want to get new equipment, a new computer, a new cell phone, so that you could start a new business, side hustle, or just a hobby that you're into. So towards the end of the month, you're really going to be reaching out, wanting to talk to people, learn from people, or just get together with friends or your siblings. All right, Aries, I hope that this was helpful. Taurus, the first week of May may bring in a lot of tension when it comes to work, career, even your parents and your home life, your home. Maybe there's some arguments going on in the home this month because Mars is transiting the fourth house. This could also mean that you are redoing things within your home, maybe redecorating, fixing things up that aren't working properly. This can also mean maybe there's problems with vehicles. This can also mean that there's more expenses when it comes to the home, your family members. There's a lot of activity in your 12th house, and with Mars in the fourth, it could even mean theft, or maybe that your property or something that you own gets damaged. The sun shining a light on your first house tells me you are still rethinking maybe your beauty regimen, maybe your clothing, your style, maybe you want to change things up. And the post shadow of Venus retrograde lasts until May 16th. So all the way until May 16th, you may be rethinking your style, your aesthetic, your finances, your relationships even, and you can still be hearing back from people from the past, or you can be really nostalgic about people from the past, still be hearing back from people that you used to know, and going over things that have to do with money, beauty, and love. With Venus transiting the 12th house, you could want to spend more time alone, reading, catching up on films, or maybe you're starting a relationship behind the scenes, talking to somebody behind the scenes. This can also just mean that you're going to spend more money. You're going to want to spend more money, maybe on relaxation, on beauty, or maybe just on your hobbies. But there can be a lot of tension within the home and with family members with that Mars in your fourth house. So do watch out for that. People that you live with can be a lot more argumentative this month. May 12th, there is a full moon in your 7th house of relationships, partnerships, and this can mean that maybe a relationship is coming to fulfillment, to a conclusion, or it can also mean that you're taking a relationship to the next level, making compromises within relationships or even business partnerships. And for some of you, you could be realizing that a relationship, an existing relationship, or a past relationship has just reached its limits because you have Venus in your 12th house. You're still feeling a little bit nostalgic because we're in the post shadow of Venus retrograde. It could even mean somebody from the past that shows up in your life, and you're going to have to make a decision with whether you want to continue on the same cycle that you've been on in your relationships or you want something completely brand new. So there could be a lot of emotions coming up. Anytime we have a full moon in Scorpio, there could be a lot of jealousy, possessiveness coming up within us, especially on or around relationships. So watch out for that, especially around May 12th through the 16th. There can be relationship issues that just come up that you need to deal with. Around May 25th, Saturn will move into your 12th house. This is the house of your mental health, your subconscious mind. It's the house of losses. It's the house of enemies. And Saturn is going to clear house. Now, in the summer of 2025, you're going to feel this energy a lot. Saturn will retrograde back into your 11th house in the fall, and in 2026, it will come back into your 12th house. But from the end of May to the summer, you're going to feel this energy, and it can even be for some of you retirement, retiring from work. Maybe one of your parents is retiring, or there's things going on in their lives. This can also mean more expenditures are coming, and this summer, you can really feel it, whether it is for health, for career, or even debts. A lot of you could be paying off debts, sometimes even incurring more debts, maybe taking on more responsibility when it comes to money. And this can also mean that people in your life that are not meant to be there will fall away at this time. Especially when it comes to friends or groups that you belong to. Certain friends can be revealed for exactly who they are, and you might not like what you see, Taurus. There might have been a lot of this anyways, as Neptune and Saturn, of course, were in your 11th house. So there could have been a lot of lies and deceit exposed when it comes to friendships. And Saturn and Neptune will both be going back to your 11th house for a little bit, then coming back to the 12th. From this summer to the end of the year, more friends could be revealed, maybe as foes, or people even gossiping about you, and maybe you just want to stay away from all of it, stay away from the drama, and just seclude yourself a little bit more. The 12th house is the house of seclusion. It's the house where we want to be by ourselves more. So you could be wanting to be less active out there in the world, less social, especially this summer. While Saturn is in your 12th house, it is a great time to let go of any negative thinking patterns, let go of bad health habits, and of course work on paying off any debts that you have and letting go of negative people in your life. While Saturn's in the 12th, it can also make you feel like there's just more drama around you. So that's why you want to be more secluded, away from everything, away from everybody. And you're going to feel this energy creeping up at the end of May. On May 26th, Mercury will enter Gemini, and we have a new moon in Gemini. So maybe there's negotiations about possessions, about business. Maybe you are getting a new job. Some of you buying new possessions, signing contracts, talking about money. You can also be shopping a little bit more for yourself, jewelry, clothing, but there can be a brand new beginning when it comes to money and career resources, or making a bigger purchase, maybe even starting a business, getting a new job, getting a promotion. There is a new beginning when it comes to finance and possessions. I hope that this was helpful, Taurus. Gemini, the first week of May, there may be some complications when it comes to travel, when it comes to learning, school, passports, things like that, because we have Pluto in your 9th opposite Mars in your 3rd house. So if you are traveling, just be more cautious of this. With Mars being in your 3rd house, there could be some arguments, maybe disagreements with siblings, with people in your neighborhood, but this can also mean that you're putting in a lot of effort into learning a skill, building a website, or being out and about in your neighborhood neighborhood. This month, you're going to try out new restaurants, maybe go out more, go to the shopping mall. You're going to be more active, especially in your community with your friendship circle. With Venus in the 11th house, groups, friendships, or maybe online groups, any clubs that you belong to, that's where the joy will be. That's where your happiness will be. As well as chasing after your hopes and dreams. This can also be a time where some of you meet new friends and gain a bigger following on social media, because the 11th house is also the love that we receive from other people. And with Venus being in the 11th house, you guys could have an expansion of followers, people who want to be around you. You could meet new mentors, especially online. This is really fantastic for sales. If you do sales, you can see your sales go up. You can become more popular, more charismatic this month. With the sun shining a light on your 12th house, there could be some secrets revealed to you. Maybe a lot of gossip about you, maybe even people trying to steal your ideas. So be careful of that. Or it could just mean that you're working on something behind the scenes. A lot of creative ideas could come to you through your dreams, and it can even be a month where you have a harder time sleeping. May 12th, there is a full moon in Scorpio. This is your 6th house of work, health, and this can be a time where you are reaching a goal when it comes to your habits, your health, reaching a fitness goal, paying off debt. Maybe you are completing a work project. For some of you, you could even be maybe letting go of a job, looking for a new job. The 6th house is the house of organization, daily habits, and it could be a time where the little changes that you have been making are finally showing their fruition. They are finally paying off. So if you've been cleaning, if you've been exercising, eating better, or you're just starting that, you can feel like it is manifesting. Like the goals that you have been pursuing are finally coming to fruition. This can also be a time of changes in the workplace, hiring new employees, or the people that work with you are changing, different people coming to work with you, and you're just changing your lifestyle for the better. May 25th, Saturn will enter your 11th house of groups, friendships, organizations, your hopes and dreams. If you have planets from 0 to about 4 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, you can feel the Saturn transit all throughout the summer. Saturn will retrograde in July, but it will still be in your 11th house. And in the fall, in September, it will go back to your 10th house. And next year, in 2026, it will go back into your 11th house. But this summer will be a preview of what Saturn will be doing in your 11th house. And it's going to structure your friendship, your hopes and dreams, your following on social media. So what Saturn's going to do is it's going to show you any and all cracks in your friendships. It could be a time when certain friends move away, maybe certain friends get married and your relationship is not the same as it used to be, or a time where you realize that certain friends are not really your friends. This can also be a time where there's new developments in the lives of your older siblings. If you have older siblings, it can be a time where they're going through a harder time in life. So essentially, starting the end of May, your friendship dynamics are changing. This could even be you restructuring what you want for your future, your hopes and dreams, or maybe you're really working hard on your hopes and dreams for the future. You're really working hard, and so your friendship dynamics are changing. With the eclipses happening in your 4th and 10th house axis, it could even be you moving away, changing jobs. Whenever we are changing, our friendship circles are changing. Isn't that the truth? Because the people you hang out with are a representation of you. Neptune also going into your 11th house, Gemini, so I would also be very cautious of new people coming into your life. Neptune will give you rose-colored glasses in the area it's transiting, and it could feel like maybe you're meeting a lot of spiritual friends or a lot of spiritual people that are in the creative arts, but you could also be meeting people who lie, who take advantage of you. With Saturn transiting the 11th house, Saturn will get rid of anybody who is not there for the right reasons, who's not meant to be in your life. The end of May and all summer, you're going to start to see your friendship circle changing. May 26th, your ruler Mercury goes into Gemini, your first house. And on that same day, May 26th, we have a new moon in your first house, in your sign Gemini. So you could be really rethinking your aesthetic, your look, maybe getting your hair done, getting new clothes. Everything is all about you and where you fit in. It's like you are emerging out into the world. So if you've been hibernating a little bit, you're going to become more social. You're going to be more noticed, especially by other people. So if you're looking for love, you want to get more attention, towards the end of May, you may feel like you're getting a lot more attention, and you're also going to be paying attention a lot more to your looks, being more visibly seen by other people. So if you're on social media, you can garner a lot more attention. This is perfect for beautification, changing your hairstyle, changing your clothes. So if you're thinking about that, middle of May, end of May is a perfect time. I hope that you found this helpful, Gemini. Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. The first week of May, we have Pluto opposite Mars going on, and for you, it's the 2nd and 8th house. So there could be some disagreements, arguments over money, shared resources, especially with family members. So do watch out for that. And with Mars in your 2nd house, you may be more aggressive in your speech, the way you speak to your family members. This can also lead to impulsive spending. This can also mean you're really going after money, career. You want to make more money, but it does indicate spending a lot more money, impulsive spending as well. Venus meeting up with Neptune in your 10th house could find you falling in love, maybe with somebody that you meet at work. Building up your image, building up your career is going to be really what brings you a lot of joy with Venus in the 10th house for the month. So you're really going to be focused on making more money, building up your social presence, and people could really be gravitating towards you. You can seem more charming to the public. May 12th, we have a full moon in Scorpio. This is your 5th house. This can be a time where you are releasing a creative project out into the world. You benefit from the stock market. This can also be a more emotional time because Scorpio full moons bring up a lot of emotions within us, and it could be an ending of a romantic relationship. Taking a new relationship to the next level, becoming more serious with somebody. There could be new developments in the life of your children. Your creative projects that you have been working on can finally gain a lot of recognition this month. May 25th, Saturn will enter your 10th house of career and public image. And this summer, you're going to really feel Saturn's presence in your 10th house. In the fall, it will go back into your 9th house. And next year, early 2026, it will come back to your 10th house. If you have personal planets from 0 to 4 degrees of Cancer, Capricorn, Aries, or Libra, you are going to feel this a lot more. Or even if your ascendant sign is in the early 5 degrees of Cancer, Saturn in your 10th house is going to restructure your career goals, and it will make anything that is not working very much present so that you can take care of it, especially when it comes to your public image, your career goals. And it can sometimes lead to not getting along with bosses, people of authority. Saturn transiting the 10th house can also bring problems with the father, your relationship with the father, or maybe your father's health can suffer a little bit. Or there's things in your father's life, your parents' lives that are changing because it is also opposing the 4th house. So there can be changes with the parents. This transit is really about eliminating anything that is distracting you from reaching your full potential. It is about your career, your public image. So if you are in a job, in a career that you are not loving, things aren't going well, maybe you will leave that job. Maybe you will be let go from that job. But ultimately, it is only to lead you to your highest purpose. You're going to start becoming more responsible, and you're going to be chasing after your career goals. So anything that is a distraction, you're not going to want in your life. You may even find yourself putting friends or chit chat aside so that you can work really hard on your goals, on your career, your image. Maybe you want to help people. You want to start your own business. A lot of people even start their own business when Saturn is transiting the 10th house because they find something that they align with more. From the end of May and all summer long, you're going to be really focused on career, your public image, or maybe changing careers, starting a business. You're really going to be working hard in this area. May 26th, Mercury enters Gemini, and this is also where we have a new moon in Gemini in your 12th house on the 26th. So the end of the month, your subconscious mind will be activated. So this is a time to let go of any bad thinking patterns, any bad habits. This is also a time where you might have more anxiety thinking about the past a lot, but also finding a way to deal with your past. And this can be a time where the past does show up to be dealt with. So people from the past gossip about you can be happening. You may even feel like there's more drama in your life and you're like, I don't want any part of it. This new moon can open you up to new spiritual practices, meditation, mindfulness. A new moon in your 12th house will also encourage you to let go of whatever is not serving you, whether it is limited thinking patterns, people in your life that have shown you over and over they are not meant to be in your life. So you could find yourself overthinking a little bit towards the end of the month, Cancer. A really great time to do a lot of self-care, meditation, and spending some time alone, finding some creative outlets that you want to do all by yourself. I hope that this was helpful, Cancer. Leo, the first week of May, we have Pluto opposite Mars going on, and this for you is happening in your 1st and 7th house. So there could be issues within relationships that come up to the forefront. It could bring on jealousy, arguments, but it can also bring on a lot of attraction between you and somebody. If you are looking for a partner, this might be a time where you find somebody, or a lot of people might be really interested in you, but this can also bring on a lot of enemies, competitors, and opposition for you the first week of May. And with Mars in the 1st house for May, you could be really impatient, maybe say things you don't mean. So do watch out for that. But it does also indicate you have a lot more energy and you are initiating, starting something new. So in May, you're going to be extremely energetic, a go-getter. There is a Venus-Neptune conjunction happening in your 9th house. So if you are planning a trip, signing up for a course or anything like that, be sure you know exactly what you're getting into, as sometimes with Neptune, we can go into things with rose-colored glasses and not look at the bigger picture, the fine print. But this does give you a lot of creativity, especially if you want to teach something, if you want to travel to gain inspiration. This can also be that you're going to travel with a partner or take a short trip with a partner. And this will bring up a lot of creativity if you are maybe publishing your work on social media, in a book, if you're teaching, anything like that. A lot of creative ideas will be coming to you. And this can be through watching things, reading, or just listening to people. You can be really inspired this month by people that you look up to. That is where the joy will come from this month. Learning something new, talking to people from all over the world, travel, or just reading, immersing yourself with knowledge. Venus from your 9th is trining Mars in your 1st. So this new inspiration you're going to gain will lead you to initiate something new. And with the sun shining a light in your 10th house, it could be about your image, your career, expanding your outreach to people, but you are also expanding your career, your business. This can also mean a promotion, a new job, the initiation of a new business, a business idea. May 12th, we have a full moon in Scorpio in your 4th house. So you could feel like you're more emotional, or maybe you are dealing with issues with your family, with your parents. This can be a time where you're letting go of possessions. It's a perfect time to organize your home and get rid of clutter. Get rid of everything that no longer serves you, you don't want, you don't need. Maybe even for some of you, getting rid of an old vehicle, changing up the decor in your home. For a few of you, it could mean a move. Maybe you are letting go of a home, a lease that you've had, and you want to move. You have to move. This can also mean that somebody that you lived with is moving away, or there's some changes happening within the home, within the family. And with a Scorpio full moon, we can feel a lot of emotions. A lot of things from the past can come back into our lives, and we might have to deal with these. Or things can shift and change really drastically, really fast, because that is the Scorpio energy. May 25th, Saturn will enter Aries. This is your 9th house of higher education, travel, spirituality, and publishing, learning, teaching, the law, legal agreements. Saturn will spend some time in your 9th house. In the fall, it will go back to your 8th house, and early 2026, it will come back into your 9th house. So this summer, you are going to get a taste of what it is like to have Saturn in your 9th house. If you have planets from 0 to 4 degrees, Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, you can feel this transit a lot more this summer. Saturn can change your whole philosophy on life. The things that you believed in, whether political or religious beliefs, can change. Saturn here can also delay education. If you're maybe trying to get into college, take a course, it might be delayed. Issues with travel, issues with immigration can also come up. If you are a teacher or you teach, there could be pushback from some of your students. This can also mean that there's oppositions from your siblings as well, but this can also affect your publishing deals if you are somebody who publishes your work. There could be some disagreements or some things that have to be worked out with publishers. This transit can cause some upsets with the parents or with the father. It is 12th away from the 10th house. So there could be arguments with the parents, with the father, or maybe something going on in the life of the father that is a little bit more difficult. This is the house of luck. It is the house where you find yourself. Whether it is through spirituality, through a belief system, you are finding yourself here. So you could get rid of a lot of things that are not aligned to you. So you may find new inspiration, whether it is in philosophy, in religion, in spirituality, some new form or teaching that leads you to higher aspirations, higher inspirations. New things will bring you joy. You're going to find inspiration in new things, and therefore a lot of the old ways, old belief systems will fall away. This summer, it's just a little preview, but you are going to start feeling this towards the end of May. May 26th, we have a new moon in Gemini. This is your 11th house of groups, friendships, and this can be a time where maybe you're doing new projects with friends, you're hanging out with people more. You'll be feeling more extroverted, like you want to go out, and this can be a time where you gain a bigger following. You can see that people are gravitating to you more, showing you more love, more attention. You're going to become more forward thinking as well, thinking about your goals, your long-term vision. So the end of the month is going to bring a lot of interest in creativity, hanging out with people, joining new groups online, getting together with friends, becoming a social butterfly, gaining more attention. I hope that this was helpful, Leo. Virgo, the first week of May, we have Mars in your 12th house opposing Pluto in your 6th house. There can be jealousy, competition, gossip at work. With that Mars in your 12th house in May, you may feel like you want to get away and just be off on your own. You can be dreaming or thinking about situations that happened in the past a lot, going over it, reanalyzing it. There may even be people talking about you, a lot of gossip about you, and people from the past showing up or wanting to talk to you. You may also have a hard time sleeping with analyzing everything and thinking a lot about the past. Pluto in your 6th house is going to help you change your routine, your diet, your exercise program, or what you do on a day-to-day basis. You're really shifting things around when it comes to personal health, when it comes to work, when it comes to routine. And Mars in the 12th will give you that push. You will find something on your own. You're going to be led to something that really transforms you, and it could just be little things, but they will really have a big impact on you later. Venus is in your 8th house, so this is the month where you can benefit from other people's money, finances, maybe people giving you gifts, tax returns. Mysticism, esoteric knowledge, natural healing can bring you so much joy this month. Delving deep into the psyche, the past, and going over things. This can also be you really transforming your beauty. A new hairstyle, a new wardrobe, new makeup, new skincare, a new skincare routine. In April and in May, Virgos, you will be spending a lot of money on beauty, on reinventing yourself. The eclipses that we just had and the ruler going into the 8th started a whole transformation for you. So a lot of you throughout April and throughout May are changing things about yourself, and it really is physically. So whether it is your diet, your eating, or your looks, maybe you're shopping for new stuff, for new makeup, perfume, cologne, clothes, you are really trying to reinvent yourself. And most of the month, your ruler, Mercury, is also in the 8th house, so you are really going within. You're really wanting a big, huge shift, a big change, and the sun is shining a light on your 9th house, where you started initiating something last month, something new, something with social media publishing. This can also be you planning a trip. New spiritual, philosophical knowledge, new interests that will help you on your journey to this big transformation. So this month, you are really going to feel like you're starting a whole brand new life. So it's going to be very personal for you guys. And with that Mars in the 12th house, you are really shying away from hanging out with everybody and focusing on this change. May 12th, there is a full moon in Scorpio. This is your third house of communication, your self-effort, and you may be inspired to really speak your mind, have some important conversations with people, conversations with your siblings, as well as friends, people online. You may join some interesting conversations. There could also be an ending in the lives of your siblings, or you could learn some secrets, maybe about your siblings, or something that your siblings come and tell you that you had no idea about, or maybe one of your friends online. You could be uncovering a lot of secrets. This can be a more emotional time. This can even be some of your favorite shops around your town maybe closing up or going through a big change. That's what Scorpio rules, transformation. So it may seem like the places that you visit quite frequently are changing. There's drastic changes within your community. You may also be changing your computer, your cell phone, software on a mundane level. If you have a business and you promote yourself online, you may be shifting away from what you used to do and starting something completely different. It may seem that you are changing a lot, so maybe the places that you are visiting no longer align with you, so you may feel this big shift in what you want to do on a day-to-day basis. Your routines might start changing. May 25th, Saturn enters Aries, your 8th house of transformation, shared resources, intimacy, esoteric knowledge. If you have personal planets from about 0 to 3 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, you are going to feel the Saturn transit this whole summer. This fall, September 1st, it will go back into your 7th house, and early 2026 come back into your 8th house. The 8th house rules other people's finances. So if you are someone who depends on other people's money, your spouse, business partner, clients, this can feel like you are restricted a little bit. It's not like the money won't be there, but you can feel like maybe you have less of it, there's less to work with, and this is so that you go out there and do things on your own. You are essentially reconstructing your finances. For the next few years, you need to pay more attention to your taxes, your insurance forms, stocks, bonds, and investments. At times, there may even be issues or restrictions with intimacy. If you are waiting on a settlement, child support, alimony, benefits, insurance payout, inheritance, things can get a little wonky, or you may have to do a lot more work, wait a longer time to receive everything that you are owed. Some of you could be dealing with more serious issues as well, whether a relationship breakdown, a move, a huge change in your life, and this could even involve people leaving your life or things from the past, family karma coming up to the forefront for you to deal with. So it can feel like a heavy transit for some. Saturn will give the results that are promised according to your chart. But this is a more heavier transit, since the 10th house is the career house, and Saturn transiting in the 8th house is 11 houses away from the 10th, meaning you will get gains, more popularity, more gains, maybe change your career direction, and really benefit from your career, which is also why it may seem that you are going to be relying less on other people. So it is a time on building your career up, building your goals. And Virgo, Jupiter is still in your 10th house where it is working for you career-wise, and it is going into your 11th house. So a lot of Virgo risings can have a lot of new career developments over the next year. More money, promotions, changing jobs, becoming more popular within your career, gaining a bigger following. So the 8th house Saturn transit will actually benefit your career. From the end of May and all summer, you guys will be feeling this, but those of you who are early degree Virgo risings, it's going to start at the end of May. You're going to start feeling big shifts happening when it comes to the area of your 8th house. May 26th, your ruler, Mercury, will enter Gemini. This is your 10th house of career and public image. And on this same day, we also have a new moon in Gemini. So your career life is lighting up. This means new developments happening within your career, within your public image, gaining a bigger following, maybe changing jobs for some of you, getting a raise, getting a promotion, maybe your business is taking off, or this can be a time where you want to initiate starting a new business. And remember, Jupiter is in your 10th house as well. So this month, at the the end of May, a lot of things can be initiating when it comes to your career, or a lot of new beginnings, new career opportunities, recognition for your work. The end of May into the summer is really the time for you, Virgos, to work on your career, your public image, your website, your business. It is the time where you are getting recognized and well received by the public. A lot of new beginnings in this area for you. I hope that this was helpful, Virgo. Libra, during the first week of May, we have that Pluto opposite Mars happening in your 11th and 5th house. So there could be some tension when it comes to romance, relationships, friendships, and children, or even your creative projects and how they are received, especially on social media. There could be some tension within friendship groups because Mars is in the 11th house in May. So maybe some friends pissing you off, and even people online. But this is really going to get you motivated to go after your dreams. So you're going to be a lot busier, a lot more social this month. All the way until May 16th, we are in the post-shadow of Venus retrograde, and Venus is your ruler. And with Venus in the 7th house, along with Mercury, you guys are really going to find joy in connecting with others. So relationships, you guys could be really making decisions about relationships. Or this could be a time where romance is in the air and you are meeting somebody new, or taking a relationship to the next level, or just having some good outings, some romantic dates, or even hearing back from people from the past, especially from May 1st to the 16th. Starting new relationships, you're going out more, you're going to be a lot more social with that Mars in the 11th. Just be more cautious of fights with friends or just some animosity within friendship circles. May 12th, there is a full moon in Scorpio, and this is your 2nd house of finances, and this can be a time where you reach a financial goal. You could also be letting go of a source of income, a job, a side hustle. This can also be a time where you are getting rid of some of your possessions, maybe decluttering, or you're seeing a lot of abundance, financial growth, finally something that you have been working on paying off, and you want to be moving forward in a new direction in work or in business, or maybe buying a more high ticket item. May 25th, Saturn will enter Aries. This is your 7th house of relationships, partnerships, business partners, clients. Saturn will be here all summer long. In the fall, it will go back into your 6th house, and early 2026 come back into your 7th house. So from the end of May and all summer long, you're going to feel Saturn heavy in your 7th house, especially if you are an early degree Libra rising. If you have personal planets from about 0 to 4 degrees, Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, you will also feel this Saturn transit a lot more this summer. We just had a solar eclipse in Aries. Neptune also went into Aries. And for a lot of you, this is the beginning of a new romantic relationship, or maybe even taking a relationship to the next level, making a serious commitment. For others of you, this is a time where you can see more relationship issues come up to the forefront, especially within existing relationships. If there are problems, cracks in the relationships, they will come up to the forefront so that you can deal with them. And for some of you, this can even mean a breakup, a separation. It can even seem that you don't want to date, or that relationships are just too much work right now, and you really want to just go into work mode and focus on your career. And this really is a time where you can get very busy within your career, because the 7th house is a career house. It is a business house. And Saturn transiting this house will eliminate anyone from your life that is not meant to be there. So sometimes this can cause breakup. Sometimes this can cause marriage getting more serious. It is really different for everybody. So from the end of May and all summer, you're going to see relationship changes happening in your life. Those of you who are married, coupled, this can also be a time where your partner is going through a harder time in life, and they may be a little bit more of a burden to you, or you will need to put in a lot more work into the relationship to make it work. May 26th, Mercury is going into Gemini, and we also have a new moon in Gemini on the 26th. This is your 9th house, and this could be you going back to school, publishing your work, wanting to publish your work, traveling, making travel plans, as well as getting your passport. There could be something you read, you watch that inspires you, inspires new action within you, as well as inspires you to learn something new. So you could be setting your aspirations for the future with what you want to do with your career. Connect to your spirituality a little bit more. This can be a time where you feel like you want to get away, maybe take a short trip, a long trip, or just maybe start planning this. Or you could just be connecting with people from all over the world, people who are completely different from you, visiting museums. You'll be focused on philosophy, spirituality, the bigger picture of life, and a lot of new information can be coming to you at the end of the month, Libra. I hope that this was helpful. Scorpio, the first week of May, you may be feeling that there is some conflict between home, career, your public image. You can even be feeling this the last week of April as Pluto and Mars are opposite one another. With Mars being in your 10th house for this month, there could be advancement in your career, and maybe your family life is suffering or you're working harder than ever. This can also bring in problems or conflict with people of authority, bosses, your superiors, the people that you work with. With Venus and Mercury in your 6th house, the joy will come from organizing your life, organizing your closet, your house, getting rid of things you no longer need, pampering yourself, maybe getting some services done, getting your hair done, getting your nails done, starting a new workout program, healthier eating, better eating habits, or even going over your bills and structuring your bills in a more efficient way. So the beauty really will come from being very efficient. That is what's going to make your life easier and actually bring you a lot of joy in the month of May. May 12th, we have a full moon in your sign, your first house. So this is your identity, your path, your personality. This full moon is a culmination. So this is a time where maybe you are just ready to make a big shift, a big change in your life, or you feel like that is where your life is headed to this month. This is a time where you may be dissatisfied with things in your life and you want to completely change something in your life. And this could have to do with your look, your style, your aesthetic, or where you want to be in life, who you want to associate with. So around the middle of May, you're going to be asking yourself a lot of questions because you are ready to let go of what no longer serves you. And this is especially when it comes to your friendships, your personality, your style. Around the middle of May, there can be a sense like there is something that you have to leave behind, you have to let go of to become a better version of yourself. May 25th, Saturn will enter your 6th house, where you are going to be very focused on getting fit, getting healthy, paying off debt, restructuring your bills. This can be a time if you own a business where you might have to hire new employees, or there could be some setbacks, more responsibilities when it comes to your business. Maybe there are health issues that you are going to be really focused on and taking care of as well. If there's any negative habits, this is a time to let them go. This transit will be about getting rid of anything that is a problem in your life, from bad health habits to debt that you no longer want. So you can even go through and scrutinize your bills and get rid of payments, maybe monthly payments that you no longer need and want. And there could also be some challenges with people in the workplace or those who work for you, leading you to maybe find new employees, find new employment in some cases. But this is really about bettering your life, your day-to-day life, to make it work better. Those of you who have any planets from about 0 to 4 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn will feel this summer. In the fall, Saturn will go back into your 5th house, and early 2026, it will go back into your 6th house. So this summer will be a taste of what Saturn in the 6th house will be for you. May 26th, there is a new moon in your 8th house, and this is new beginnings when it comes to shared resources, new contracts, loans, maybe an inheritance, or your partner or spouse starts bringing in more money, they get a promotion. This can also be a new beginning in you studying metaphysics or really getting into something that improves your life in some way. Diving in deep when it comes to psychological issues or financial issues. This could also be a fresh new beginning after a difficult time. You can feel like a sense of relief, like you know what to do. You are feeling really strong. And there could be more trust restored between you and an intimate partner. I hope that this was helpful, Scorpio. Sagittarius, the first week of May, we have that Pluto-Mars opposition between your 3rd and 9th house. So if you are traveling, stay flexible because there may be some issues that come up around traveling, maybe some delays, frustrations even. There can also be issues with teachers, with mentors. With Mars in the 9th house for May, you are thinking about travel, maybe making travel plans, or you are learning something new. But there could be some disagreements with people that you learn from as well. You could also be working on publishing your work, whether it is on social media or actually publishing your work with a publisher. The sun is shining its light on your 6th house, so you could really be getting into working out, eating better, healthier habits, as well as scrutinizing your bills and where your money is going with Venus in the 5th house. The joy will come from having fun, creative outlets, creative hobbies, spending more time with your children, maybe doing some fun activities with your children. Even meeting a new romantic partner. Those of you who are looking for love and you're a Sagittarius rising, you could find love this month, or at least somebody to have a lot of fun with, or go out more and enjoy yourself a little bit. May 12th, we have a full moon in Scorpio. This is your 12th house, and this is the house of endings. So you could be ending some uncomfortable karmic patterns. This is a time to let go of grudges or even health habits that you no longer want to have in your life. So a perfect time to shift and make a change. This can also mean that people and situations from the past come up for review. Around that full moon, you may be feeling like you want to spend more time alone, gather your thoughts a little bit, and you're going to know just what it is that you need to change and shift in your life. May 25th, Saturn will enter Aries. This is your 5th house of children, creativity, romance. Saturn will be affecting your 5th house for the duration of this summer. But if you have personal planets from about 0 to 4 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, you're going to feel this more intensely. In the fall, Saturn will go back into your 4th house, and early 2026, it will go back to your 5th house. So the summer will be a preview of what Saturn in the 5th house will be doing. But from the end of May and all summer, you're going to feel like frivolous relationships just won't do. It might be even a little bit harder for you to relax and have fun. This may also make parenting more difficult or strain the relationship with your children. There could also be more difficult themes in your children's lives, and this can also be a time where your investments might not be doing so well, or you're going to want to get rid of some investments. Even some of your hobbies may change. You may realize that some of the things that you used to do that brought you a lot of joy are no longer fun anymore. So you may even change up what you find to be fun, change up your hobbies. May 26th, there is a new moon in Gemini. This is your 7th house of business partner, your spouse, your relationship sector. This can be a time where you are meeting somebody new, taking a relationship to the next level, or there's something new and exciting going on in your partner's life, your spouse's life, forming a new business partnership, and getting more clients, more people coming to you. You could be a lot more popular this month. With this new moon in your 7th house and Venus being in your 5th house, a love, romance is in the air, Sagittarius. So those of you who are single and looking, this could be the month where you could really be meeting somebody or taking a romance to the next level for some of you. I hope that this was helpful, Sagittarius. Capricorn, the first week of May, we do have Pluto opposite Mars, and this is involving your 2nd and 8th house. Even at the very, very end of April, you might have been feeling this, some conflict or even opposition when it comes to money, especially shared resources or possessions. With Mars being in the 8th house for May, there can be things from the past that come up to be dealt with, and these can be financial, or they can even include intimate relationships, the way that you feel about people. Issues with money and joint finances might come up for review. Venus and Mercury are in your 4th house this month, so the joy will really come from hanging out at home, maybe getting a new pet, redecorating your house, organizing your house, or just spending a lot of time there, maybe having family get-togethers. That is really what you're going to find most fun in the month of May. The sun is shining a light on your 5th house, so maybe you are starting a new creative project for some of you, or maybe you are dating somebody new, falling in love, even meeting somebody new, or hanging out, spending more time with your children. May 12th, we have a full moon in Scorpio. This is your 11th house of groups, friendships. This can mean that you are celebrating an accomplishment. This can also mean that you're following changes on social media. Maybe you gain a bigger following. You could be celebrating something, or maybe you leave behind a friendship group. There could be some disconnection with friends you no longer align with for some of you. This can also be a time where you're introduced to new things, new people, or new groups that you want to join. May 25th, Saturn will enter Aries. This is your fourth house of home, family, emotional security, your parents, your mother. If you have personal planets from 0 to 4 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, you're going to feel this a lot more. It's going to be felt more strongly this summer. So from the end of May until September 1st, you are going to feel Saturn in your fourth house. In September, Saturn will go back into your third house, and early 2026 come back into your fourth house. So you will see this summer how Saturn's going to start playing out in your fourth house. Its Saturn transit really depends on how it's placed in your chart. While it's transiting your fourth house, there could be issues with vehicles, having to fix vehicles, buying a new vehicle, having to sell one. There can also be a need for home repairs, or maybe you are wanting to move, but it seems like you can't. It seems like you don't have enough room or space in your home. Fourth house Saturn transit can also affect the health of your parents, or maybe there is a decline in their health. The health of your mother can suffer, or maybe your mother is going through a more difficult time. Or the relationship with your mother or your parents can be a little bit strained. This can be a time where you're going through a lot of inner emotions. You are maybe dredging up all the old stuff and letting it go. So you're letting go of any and old baggage that you have held on to. So there can be negative feelings that come up because this is the house of security, what makes you feel secure, and it's going to be shaken up a bit. And sometimes this just signals a move to a new place. Maybe you don't know anybody, so you're not as comfortable yet, and a lot of the old feelings are coming up. It doesn't even have to be bad or negative, but there is going to be more responsibilities when it comes to the home, when it comes to taking care of your emotional security, emotional needs. May 26th, we have a new moon in Gemini. This is your sixth house. Maybe you are hiring new employees, those of you who own a business, or this could be new coworkers coming to work with you, a new health habits, diet, and exercise program that you are initiating. You're starting something to improve your health, as well as maybe going over and rebudgeting your bills. This is also a time maybe for some of you that you get a new pet, organize your house, maybe even think about getting a new car. So you are initiating something that's going to make your life run better, run smoother. I hope you found this helpful, Capricorn. Aquarius, the first week of May, we have Pluto opposite Mars from your first and seventh house, and you could even be feeling this starting April 26th. Opposition arguments coming from a romantic partner, a business partner, clients. With Mars in the seventh house for most of the month, there could be some arguments, disagreements with your romantic partner. If you find yourself fighting a lot with your romantic partner, it is a time to start doing more physical activities, going out and exercising together. There can also be a lot of new attractions or new relationships being formed, those of you who are single. With Venus and Mercury in your third house all month, you are going to be spending some time with your siblings, or maybe really enjoying spending time with your siblings, hanging out in your neighborhood, traveling, getting on social media, promoting yourself, having chit chat on social media, catching up on some gossip, watching a documentary, reading a book. That is really where the joy will come. The sun is shining a light on your fourth house, so there could be home renovations, redecorating, moving, thinking about moving for some of you, or just spending a lot more time at home. May 10th, we have a full moon in your 10th house. This is your career, your status to the world, and this can be when you are celebrating achievements, promotions in your life, maybe even changing a job, getting a better job. And for some of you, this could be a redirection in your career. You could maybe leave a job because you decide that you want something more fulfilling. But for most of you, this is time to celebrate your accomplishments, what you have achieved with your hard work thus far. May 25th, Saturn will enter Aries. This is your third house of siblings, communications, what you do on a day-to-day basis, your skills, your neighborhood as well. And Saturn will be in your third house from the end of May until September 1st. In the fall, it's going to retrograde back into your second house, and early 2026, it will come back into your third house. But starting from the end of May and all summer, you will feel Saturn's presence in your third house. And if you have personal planets from about 0 to 3 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, you can feel this a lot more. So from the end of May and all summer, you may feel like it is harder to learn something new, to remember things, or to make time to learn something new. Your relationships with your siblings might change or might seem strained, or maybe one of your siblings is going through a more difficult time. There could be a need to replace computers, phones, printers, things like that. Saturn will eliminate any hobbies that you spend time on that aren't really aligned with what you need to be doing. You could become really focused on self-promotion, building your business, studying something, building a web page, trying to start a business, some of you. You may also notice your neighborhood changing, or maybe even strained relations with the neighbors. May 26th, we have a new moon in your 5th house, so some of you maybe are falling in love. And if you are looking to date, you're looking to fall in love, this is the time to do it, because that is a new beginning. You could meet somebody you're really attracted to, and you could really hit it off. Others of you maybe are spending more quality time with your children, or there's new beginnings happening in the lives of your children. New exciting creative projects that you are initiating. Maybe even new investments, investing your money into the stock market. Some of you pregnancy even, or taking a relationship to the next level. This is also a time where you could just be going out and having fun, more fun with your friends, doing things that you love to do. I hope that you found this helpful, Aquarius. Pisces, the first week of May, we have Pluto opposite Mars, and this is happening in your 12th and 6th house. So you could be dealing with gossip, enemies, competitors, and this could be people around you and people that you work with. With Mars being in your 6th house for the month, you are very motivated to get fit, get healthy, start a new diet regimen, working out. But this can be a time where you are very competitive, impatient. This is also a time where you could go through your bills, pay off some of your bills. And there could be people that you work with that work for you that kind of piss you off a little bit in the month of May. With Venus and Mercury in your 2nd house, you and a romantic partner, a spouse, could be making a bigger purchase. Whenever Venus is in the 2nd house, it's a time where we can get beautiful things that we're going to appreciate, love for a very long time. So if you're feeling like going shopping, this is a perfect time. Buying new makeup, new clothes, new perfume, changing up your hairstyle even. The sun is shining a light on your 3rd house, so you could be promoting yourself, hanging out with friends, hanging out in your neighborhood, thinking about learning something new, traveling, hanging out with people in your neighborhood, your siblings. This can be a time where you love to read or just chit-chat, gossip online or within your community. Shopping, buying new possessions, and sharing your ideas is what's going to bring you a lot of joy this month, Pisces. May 12th, we have a full moon in your 9th house of spirituality, education, travel, and this can be a time where you are making travel plans, traveling, a sudden breakthrough in your learning. Maybe you are learning something new and it came full circle and you got a lot out of it. This can also be a time where you have published your work and you're feeling very optimistic about it. The 9th house is the house of luck, so you could just be feeling more optimistic come middle of May. There could also be a lot of spiritual breakthroughs. Maybe you read a book, or you are led to a new mentor, or you're just finishing a book, a documentary that changes the way that you think about life, maybe gives you more optimism or a new direction that you want to go in. May 25th, Saturn will enter Aries. This is your 2nd house of self-esteem, self-worth, possessions, the money that you make, family, what you eat, your speech. So from the end of May and all summer, you will feel Saturn's presence in your 2nd house. September 1st, it will go back into your 1st house, and early 2026 come back into your 2nd house. If you have personal planets from about 0 to 4 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, you will feel this transit more intensely, especially this summer. When Saturn transits the 2nd house, this is a time where maybe you give up some of your possessions. This can even be a time where you are separated from family, and this can even just be because you move somewhere else to a different town, a different state, or you and certain friends and family no longer share the same values and you just go your separate ways. For some people, it could be a breakup, a divorce. While you can be shedding some of your possessions, this is also a time where you are working hard on building new structures, new possessions that are very long lasting. This can also be a time where you go on a diet, a strict diet, even a fast, or just change up your health habits altogether. Now, because Saturn in the second house is also speech, you may be a little bit more negative while Saturn transits the second house. Have a more pessimistic outlook. This is also a time where you're going to try really hard to save money to buy the things that you really want, you really need, that stand the test of time. A time where you might become very frugal. It may seem like it is harder to make money, or you have to put in a lot more effort to make money, to save money. And you are going to start feeling this energy from the end of May. May 26th, we have a new moon in your 4th house, and this, for some of you, can signal a move, redecorating your house, a new house project, maybe even buying a new vehicle, getting a pet, moving in with somebody. This can also be a time where some of you are starting a family celebrations for some of you. Hey, if you found this helpful, like and subscribe for more.